Hello, everyone. This is our first ever AMA. My name is Smacky. I'm your favorite guy with a voice changer. Let's just get right into it. We have our good friends here, GoldMint Finance. We have Woo, Monkey, and Zephyr. We're going to talk about their protocol and their new implementations of nodes. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey,
Good, Smacky. Thanks
Hey.
for having us.
Thanks for the warm
Sure.
welcome.
Oh yeah. Anytime.
yeah,
I
thanks,
mean,
Mackie.
you've been really great friends to Degen Dashboard, so
Yeah, we have a lot of
let's
fun
just
over here. We've learned a lot from you guys too. As a tune fork going into nodes, it's been a cool place. We've enjoyed hanging out here, hopefully as much as you've
Mhm.
enjoyed having us.
Absolutely. It's been
I,
great.
I
So,
don't know if everyone knows our team. I'm Vu. I'm one of the co-founders. Uh, my other co-founder Doc and I kind of came up with this protocol. We're called GoldMint Finance for anyone who doesn't know. We're a seigniorage protocol pegged to PaxG, which is a synthetic gold token. Some of my other team members are up here. The big Curb. He can introduce
Yes.
himself. He's our community manager and a lot
mhm.
more.
Yes. Yes, I do a lot of stuff. I'm like a weird chimera of HR, talent finder, partnership maker, and community manager. That's Zephyr in a nutshell.
And then we
um,
also have Monkey up here.
Yo yo. Yeah, I'm like a
Yeah.
operations guy. I don't know. I do lots of research and help decide what's going on in the protocol, what we're gonna build next, and figuring out what's going on. I like to hang out in other servers too. You'll find me in different different
Awesome.
spaces.
Like this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. You don't even need me. You're answering my own questions before I even
No, no,
ask
no. You
them.
drive the show. We're just happy to
Fantastic.
get to meet everybody.
So,
yeah.
oh yeah, we're happy to have you too. So, you're a seniority protocol. Um, what is your idea behind implementing nodes into your protocol? What is the reason for anyone who might be
That's a good
wondering?
question.
hmm
We are a seniorage protocol, and for those who come from protocols that are node specific first, you'll probably see that there are a couple other good ones out there, a couple other good seniorage protocols that have found a way to use nodes kind of to help round out the ecosystem. Uh, when you are a seniorage protocol and you incorporate nodes, there are definitely some similarities to what the people who participate in nodes might be like more familiar with, like a lock staking. The concept behind nodes in a seniorage protocol is similar to what we're all familiar with nodes, but it's essentially a commitment for some duration of time or some duration of gained APR, to kind of remove those tokens from exchanges and from being traded, um, in exchange for a higher share of the reward. So we wanted to incorporate that and kind of take the best of both worlds, but also we're trying to use our seniorage protocol to round out the nodes too. Maybe we don't want it to be a one-way street. We want our protocol to support our nodes, and we want our nodes to support our existing protocol.
hmm And it's funny, like I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago. I had the idea, like I wasn't a part of any project or anything like that, but I was like, damn, somebody should implement nodes within Seigniorage, like in one of these protocols. I was like, I think I was in Grape or like something a while back, and I was looking at some of the newer ones coming out, and then I did say it to like one project. I was like, yeah, you guys are kind of in a tough spot. You should implement nodes real quick. It's like a big um, I don't know. There's lots of hype around it at the time, and they just like didn't really listen. Nobody did, and then like a couple months later, like now they're starting to be implemented, and there's a lot of craze behind it. So I think it's pretty funny.
Yes, it is. Monkey was one of the first ones to kind of bring this to my attention too, and some other protocols. But there's just a couple examples right now. I can think of like Grape
Mhm.
Finance, EMP Finance, but a couple other algo stables that have found a way to incorporate nodes in a healthy way into their ecosystem. Um, and it seems like when done correctly, it can help the protocol and also help the people who are really just seeking nodes, who really don't participate, might not do DeFi as much or algo stables, and are more familiar with nodes. We're hoping to have a system that's appealing to them as well.
Yeah, it really opens up the avenue just to more participation in different ways and different utility to the ecosystem, and that's like something that we're going to continue to provide and build on top of, so that it's not just a like quote unquote tomb fork, but like a different seigniorage protocol with more utility. But
Mm-hmm.
just got to keep on building as we go.
Sure, that's a great way to incentivize buys and holding, of course. And we've seen quite a few protocols do it now, like Piggy does that, Grape, Code 7, and such. So let's go through a little bit of your mechanics. Um, Most seniority protocols, or not all of them, um, protocols that implement nodes use locked staking for that. And
So yes,
when people,
it's
yes, is it
essentially
same for you?
yeah. So we're following the same values as I guess like I like as Grape is a partner, they're a friend. We're following them essentially. You can, and they
Mm-hmm.
even state it as like lock staking. You can argue though that it isn't locked staking because you don't like you can't take out your initial. In other locked staking, you're locking your tokens for a period of time. You can pull out your initial, but it's just locked. But with this, like you're actually giving up those tokens for return essentially. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's lock staking. It's also nodes. It just depends on what the viewer sees or like where you're from.
Sure.
Yeah, if you're
That,
from the node community, you're going to see it as similar to lock staking. And I think if you're from the seniorage community, you're going to see it as more similar to nodes with that immediate exchange where you're actually committing to a purchase of the node, and then the rewards are going to
yes.
be down the road instead of being able to kind of like look at those original XYZ number of tokens in a pool somewhere. So yeah, it'll definitely kind of have the spirit of lock staking, but the mechanisms of a simple node protocol
Hmm.
right on top
Yes.
of our node fork, right on the same website integrated with our DApp, the existing one.
Totally. Great. That's a great answer. So will nodes be created with your peg token or with your share token or both?
Good question. So our nodes are going to be created with our peg token. So our peg token is called GoldMint. GLDM is the symbol. Um, and the first nodes that we're releasing pertain to that peg token. Now we are doing something a little bit different, and there'll be some people here who are familiar with us and some people who don't know that much about us. So we set a really ambitious goal. If you're not familiar with tomb forks and seigniorage protocols, a lot of them have tokens that they're trying to achieve a value of, maybe 20 or 30 cents or $1 or $2 to maintain that price for their token. So we set the price of 1 ounce of gold via PAX G, so an $1,800 price we're seeking to maintain. So everything we've done is moved like a little bit lower and slower on that path to getting to that desirable goal. We came out of Genesis in a really tough time. We did a traditional Tomb Fork Genesis pool. All the tokens were given away as opposed to being purchased. We had a lot of people that weren't committed to the system, and we started low. So we also had a really robust bond program. And as bonds are normally redeemed in a Tomb Fork once you're at 1.1 pay, we started thinking, is there any way we can start to incentivize and reward these awesome bondholders early so they don't have to wait until that end goal to see some rewards for participating? So one thing we're going to do is open up our regular GoldMint nodes to our bondholders as well because they have the same value. It's pretty easy
Mhm.
for us to incorporate that. So someone who is a GoldMint bondholder will be able to buy in at the same price and amount of tokens as someone who's a GoldMint holder in this round of nodes.
And
So
to
that's one thing that
clarify,
we're doing a little different.
you'll
Peg
be
focus, but bonds are being included. to take care of those folks too.
And on that, like you'll not be receiving bond GoldMint back off that node. You'll be receiving GoldMint off of that, just to like clarify that in.
Yeah, all the nodes will be the same. Whether you
Mm-hmm.
buy with GoldMint or Bond GoldMint, you'll be buying the same node, all with GoldMint as a pay mechanism. Um, when we get a little further into the conversation, we'll talk about some other, rewards that might be associated with the nodes outside of GoldMint, but that's the gist of it.
May I
Wow.
ask, quickly interject? The wellness did ask, and I agree. It slipped my mind as well. Um, the if you're whitelisted, you have the ability to pay for a node with point 0.8
Well,
Goldman or
to
bond.
to
Goldman bond.
participate in the node at all, you need to be whitelisted. But these first round, like this first, we're only releasing a set amount of nodes for this first round. If they don't all fully if they're not all fully
Mhm.
bought or whatever, they're gonna be burned. But you will receive them at this first round for point 0.8 instead of 1 token. So
Yeah, there's
it's
a 20%
percent. Yeah.
discount. And Wellness did ask a good question. This is a whitelist only. So we've been trying to, we're just building and growing. We're under 1 month, I think, or just over 1 month from full protocol deployment. We're still kind of getting our feet wet, and we're really trying to bring in this core group that's going to be with us for the long haul. That's another thing I like about doing nodes. There's other tomb forks that maybe say, oh, what we're going to do next is NFTs or something. Not everyone goes that route, but what we're trying to build over here, this community, is community of people who see the long-term vision. Our protocol has some really cool ideas for sustaining its emissions, having a longer life than a typical protocol. And you'll see that kind of reflected in our nodes, in the payouts there, and in our farm and in our boardroom, the different ways to participate. It's uh, slow, steady growth. And we think we're finding a pretty good community for that. But it's not just going to be open to everyone. We're looking for the right kind of people to participate.
Oh, 100%. Yes. That being said, we got a couple of whitelist spots to give away. So you guys invite as many people as you can to Degen Dashboard. It's not really hard to get the whitelist spots since the only people on the invite leaderboard are me and Zeph. So
It
you
doesn't really.
you can just invite a couple people to win the spot, so go ahead. Yes, that's great. The bonds, I don't think I have seen Seigniorage protocols with nodes use bonds to buy nodes.
Yeah.
We
That's
thought it would
something
be a
new.
cool way to do something different. The type of
Yes.
people who buy bonds are the same type of people that we're looking for to participate in the node protocol. If you're buying a bond when a
Mm-hmm.
protocol's working its way up. I mean, we started at 0.01 peg after Genesis. I mean, at the very bottom, and just slowly grown from there. So to see people willing to buy those bonds that early and show that much patience and willingness to wait for a return kind of made us motivated to not make them wait that long, to thank them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Totally.
that was part of the motivation there.
Yeah, there's like
Makes
we're
all
trying
sense.
to bring some more like utility to bonds essentially and add more paths. Like we have our single staking bond pool as well to allow you to once you're not just stuck with an illiquid asset not able to earn any yield or anything. So you still can get portions of share emissions by staking your bonds, but then it's also you can then create nodes. You can just get rid of it. You can essentially redeem your bond early, but not for the
Um,
same like redemption as it would be if you waited till we were over peg. So it's
yeah.
bringing more versatility in the ecosystem. And there's one thing I wanted to touch up on. That's wellness is asking. Um, so how many nodes can one whitelist buy? And also Boggs, the max total nodes the first round. So I think we're shooting for 1500 or 1750. Hasn't been completely decided yet, but we're thinking
Yeah,
one.
it's going to be in that range for the
So
first round.
1000 GoldMint nodes will be available, and 500 B GoldMint, so bond GoldMint nodes will be available, and you can purchase as many as you want per wallet. Like it,
Infinitely. per whitelist
Mm.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one
Um,
whitelist, like your whitelist doesn't mean you can just buy like you can buy as many
So
as you possibly
it's
want.
first come, first
Yeah,
serve
first
at
come,
that
first
point. Yeah.
serve. Exactly.
Yes, it's a whitelist only, but it is still first come, first serve. So once you get a whitelist spot, if you happen to be holding a couple bond GoldMint and you wanted to acquire a couple GoldMint and get 6, 10, or 25 nodes, that is going to be the way that plays out.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we're actually expecting that. I'm thinking out
Mhm.
of our whitelist that probably a good majority of the nodes, will be participated in by maybe just 25 or 50 wallets. We're still a growing protocol. So I do think some people are going to take advantage of that. The really cool thing about what we're doing is, we've measured all this ROI and our return in the way that we're going to pay out on the nodes for putting in GoldMint and taking out GoldMint. But we have a real opportunity here with a token that's trading just around one fifth of peg and is on a sustainable path to approach peg. Uh, where if you're starting to do your ROI not in GoldMint, but actually looking at on return on investment, what you could swap back into Ethereum or PaxG or whatever your preferred uh, core token is on the blockchain. I think a lot of these participants are going to have the ability to do a lot better than you do with some of the other nodes with the token growth as well. There's not just the opportunity to turn your zero point 0.8 GoldMint into 1.5 or 2 GoldMint, but there's also the opportunity to see the value of each one of those GoldMint tokens go up substantially as well. So I think
Definitely.
that's going to be appealing to a lot of people is to acquire that GoldMint early for participating in the nodes so that they kind of get the ROI, not just from the nodes, but also from the increase in value as other people are jumping in.
Yeah, because exactly what you're saying. I think we're only like point 0.2 peg, so I don't know. You can,
Mhm.
I think if you're in DeFi stuff, you can do the math. So
Yeah, Goldman's still on discount, so guys, you can still jump in and gain some. Um,
And
once
our
the
liquidity's been
nodes
rounding
product,
out,
yeah,
so price
okay.
impact hasn't been as
hmm
dangerous. Jumping in, you won't see the price swing too much. Each buy and sell does
Mhm.
still move it a little bit, but it's a pretty good time.
there's a
Yeah.
question. Will both nodes have identical reward schedules? And I believe so. Yes.
Yes, 100% identical. After you buy the node with either bond GoldMint or regular GoldMint, there will be no way to tell which you used,
Mhm.
to get in.
hmm
The nodes are all going to be identical. We don't have yet like a second tier or something, split up where it's a little different or part of the payouts different. Either zero point 0.8 bond GoldMint or zero point 0.8 GoldMint will get you a node, and those nodes will all be the same.
And I will say that it's definitely been thought about for like tiered nodes, at least having like 3 or maybe even like 5 tiers
Mhm.
of different. I don't know exactly what to say, but
Yeah, I can
different
assure you
amounts.
our first go around with nodes will not be the last implementation or development or progress. But we've been pretty excited. I've already seen pretty much the complete UI and the complete DApp integration for the nodes. It's not quite ready to release uh, to everybody yet, but it's coming along well. And there are still a lot of things we can do in the future beyond just this first round. I'm even talking to Wicket, who runs this server. He gave me a couple cool suggestions. I don't know if I can drop them. I guess it wouldn't be with this round, so it's safe. But an idea of having the tax on the nodes that would be variable based on where you were in relation to peg. Imagine if the nodes could have a tax that would completely disappear when you were at 1.01 peg or something like that, to also incentivize people if they do choose to redeem the nodes to kind of think in the same way Tomb Protocol people think with redeeming when you're above peg. So there's a lot of cool ideas for the future, and we will be encouraging compounding. So the folks who get in with this
Yes.
first round with us are going to be the ones who are able to get into the next round uh, with the best overall value and kind of come in the heaviest.
Uh-huh. And
Uh,
You're answering my
yep.
questions before I even ask them. That's amazing. That's very clever, actually. You're too have too big of a
It all
brain.
builds.
I don't
It
even
all
need
builds
to
off each
say
other.
anything.
Each question builds off of
it
that
does.
last one previous.
Did
Sure.
you
Yeah.
like 15, you do like 5 or 10 AMAs, you start kind of just answering the questions before they even appear.
Yeah.
Well, let's let Smacky regain control. What else?
Absolutely.
Oh,
What else
yeah.
do you think your
Uh,
community would like to learn about us?
it's totally okay. It's totally okay. So yeah, you said in the next round you will introduce more tiers, right? What is the
That's
reasoning
likely.
behind? Yeah, your protocol is focused on longevity, and I think more tiers and the give users reasons to compound and hold rewards instead of dumping them. So that is exactly what the direction you should take.
Yeah, I think it's
So
a smart
I
map.
think we're definitely heading that way.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's kind of following this line of thought, that means that when you compound these nodes, there might be a cool feature available, in the next round of nodes. So I'm sure as we're looking at, I think these ones are set up to have approximately a 3 month expiration. So you can be
Mhm.
pretty confident that around 2 months from now, you're gonna maybe see me back in the server having another conversation about what new is being added to our nodes and what reasons we have for you folks who decided to get in now to stick with us and have some fun, on upcoming nodes as well.
Mhm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. We'll always be waiting for you to come back and share the alpha. And um, so if it's a locked staking node, um, the rewards will be dependent on the pool.
Yes.
Is
So the
that
So
so?
rewards are dependent on a little bit more than I guess a regular set of nodes because like when I opened, I said we want to have the node support the protocol and the protocol support the node. So the one thing that we have as like a tune fork and an algo stable first is we have a percentage of the emissions of both our peg token and our share token coming to our team, to our DAO wallet that's used to help support the ecosystem. Well, now nodes are becoming part of our ecosystem. So we want to support those too.
Mhm.
So we are willing, especially with the bringing in of some bond GoldMint early, but then moving over to a GoldMint only pool to use the protocol and the DAO to supplement that as well. If there's no new nodes being sold in between when this round is released and the next one is coming up in about a month to 2 months that we'll be hearing about them, we do have the ability to lean on the protocol to keep that yield sustainable. So it's not just some of these nodes will have really ambitious goals and similar ROI to ours, but then they say, oh, so we didn't get enough new participants, so it doesn't work out. You don't get it. Sorry. We're trying not to have ours set up like that. When we
yeah.
say a sustainable goal with our nodes, we don't just mean if XYZ number of people keep coming into nodes for XYZ date. We mean we want to work it into the whole ecosystem. And if the nodes need a boost of love from our DAO at the moment, as opposed to the peg or the share token or the bond holders, we kind of want to work that into the ecosystem and support that pool directly, as in deposit GoldMint tokens into that pool to sustain those nodes and maintain that goal ROI. I mean, there's no such thing as a guarantee. We don't know how often we'll print, what our values, of the various tokens will be, but we do intend on using our existing systems that supplement all the other parts of our ecosystem and using that to help the nodes too. We're not going to set the nodes to the side as kind of like the redheaded stepchild, which I feel like a couple protocols might be doing that a little bit.
Yeah, and to touch on that a
uh,
little bit, there like so there we're aiming and pretty much gonna I think it's set for 1.6% daily for 3 months, but then obviously this is like it will be slightly variable dependent on
Mhm.
boardroom print and stuff like that, but I think the max would essentially be around 300% is like the max you could get within the
That's
time frame of
turning
there.
out a little high. I think it's a little lower than that, guys. But yeah, you can definitely look. It's going to be around zero point 0.4 per epoch. Like, check the total math yourselves. It comes out to around 1.6 a day for 90 days. approximately. There's not a actual day timer coded into our nodes. It is going to be based off of a percentage that we feel we can sustain, and it's going to be set up for that percentage to be reached in approximately 90 days. But that's not like a hard coded uh, timer, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
um, I was going to
Exactly.
actually say,
Yes.
um, for the people who, whitelists are going to be given out, for the people who invite here. But we should also mention that you can purchase a whitelist spot. Or is that correct? Boo?
Yeah, whitelist
Um,
spots are for sale. You can reach out to someone in our server. I believe it's 0.125 tax G a piece, and that gets you guaranteed access to all rounds of nodes, both this round and the upcoming ones. It includes the discount on the first round, and I think there's a couple other little perks to being on the
yeah.
whitelist, some spots and rules in the server, and some things like that. Uh, but
How
yeah, they're available through a
how
couple different means.
many waitlist spots are there in total?
There are 504 whitelist spots available. I think we have some
Okay.
set to the side to give, to certain folks that are highly involved, other protocol heads, and some people that are helping us, uh, really close friends and founders and things like that. But something in the range of 500 available for you guys to participate.
Seems like it really will pay out to have a whitelist spot. So again, guys, if you want, you can just invite a couple of friends to our server. And I see a lot of people are joining, very few actually. Yes, and from what I've heard, from what you said, it seems like you're solving quite a few issues. Seigniorage protocols who have nodes have, and not only Seigniorage protocols, but nodes protocols as well. Um, a lot of clever ideas. I like that. And we have another question from Wellness, from his friend Mojo. I don't have a lot of funds. I won one BLGM from GoldMint contest and I'm currently staking it for SGLDM. Is it going to be lucrative of me to use my one bond to buy a node or to just leave my bond in single staking pool?
That's a great
Yeah.
question. So, one of the things that I actually think is kind of fun, maybe he won't appreciate this answer, is we're going to try to put a lot of good options in front of you. With the bonds, you can go ahead and get in on the node program, and start pursuing some more gold mint rewards even before you could redeem it for 1.1. If you're starting to hear the buzz around gold mint and you think we're going to go there soon, you could just keep that bond and redeem it according to the original plan. You can stake it for the share tokens. Um, so there's going to be a lot of things you can do, and it'll kind of depend what the community decides to do. If every single person that has a bond token decided to do the nodes, it might be tempting to use your bond to stay in that bond pool and get some of those share rewards once your competition had left. Maybe if the nodes become real popular with people who have gold mint, but the bondholders are waiting for something else, uh, you may not find such high rewards. My guess is that the APR or the ROI in terms of tokens, not trying to do any dollar value or anything like that, will be higher with the nodes than anywhere else in our system. So we have 2-year emissions, which is longer than most tomb forks. The pools vary based on participation. But if we are looking at around 1.6% daily with our nodes, and then if you even look right now at goldmint.finance at the current rates paying out, I don't think anything in the vaults is that high. So there's a good chance that participating in the nodes is going to be the most profitable or highest ROI way to participate in Goldmint over the next few months here. Um,
Probably next few
don't want to
weeks.
Okay,
make a
Yeah.
guarantee, but that would be my guess.
that makes the whole sense. Actually, this is very clever. You want to give more opportunities for people to decide and giving more incentives for them to either buy your token or hold it or compound the nodes and do like whatever they want and choose a strategy that suits them, um, which is a problem for a lot of protocols, that they kind of um, make people follow a certain path instead of giving them free will, kind of.
Yes.
And yes, that's very, very
We're
clever.
going to try to put so many good options in front of you, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. We have
Exactly.
other ideas, but exchanging protocol and liquidity for things. I mean, we definitely want to keep keep kind of being like that, have that mentality with our whole ecosystem. And
Yeah.
now the nodes are
I wanted to say like there's an idea behind like there's a very deep idea behind using the nodes with bonds, like accepting bonds for the nodes. Like there's more meaning behind that than most people will realize.
Oh, a big problem in the DeFi community is also that people are uneducated and just don't understand how to participate in a protocol, to get profit from it as well as support it at the same time.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's great. So what is the benefit of what is long-term benefit of whitelist spot? Will there be some benefit for whitelistees
Definitely.
yeah. So
other than like
I don't know if I probably haven't made that clear publicly, but we may never open up these nodes to non-whitelisted people. You know, like it might the
okay.
whitelist automatically grants you access to the next round, but that doesn't mean like maybe what we're used to. I've participated in lots of other protocols other than my own for the last couple months. I've been really just focused on this, but a lot of times when you get on a whitelist, what you're buying is early access, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get on this whitelist and then you can get in first and you have a day or so many hours or 2 days to be the first one to get the tokens or get the nodes or whatever it is. What we mean is this is closed. We want good people who've heard about us early and are committed to kind of get into this program. So the benefit to the whitelist is the nodes are going to be, if we can help it, the highest ROI in our ecosystem. And the only people who are going to be allowed to participate in those nodes are going to be our whitelisted uh, gold minters, uh,
The
as
gold
we call them.
list.
So that's really the core advantage. There are some discounts, like I said, this first round of nodes, it's coming automatically off the top with a discount that at peg is worth more than the purchase price of the whitelist spot, and there's still a lot of free ones to be won out there as well. But yeah, if you want to get in on the highest ROI at GoldMint now and in the future, get yourself on that whitelist.
Yes, exactly. Monkey, you want to say something?
Uh,
Yeah.
I think I had something, but I
You're
kind
just
of had a brain fart. But I did notice Wellness had a
yeah, it's
question um,
okay.
for
Happens to the best of us.
when node launch date. So we're shooting for ending the whitelist at the end of the month and collecting everything, and because we need to collect all the addresses and get it in the code and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then they should be released at the beginning of next month, pretty close to right at the beginning of next month.
Yeah, you'll see the whitelist. That's correct. The whitelist will end May 31st, very end of this month. We're going to get the addresses, get everything put into the D app, do one last check, make sure everything's working properly, and then get those released for you guys right at the beginning of June.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm just wondering what's the next step after that? NFTs or something? Are
So
you planning on something else?
yeah, like
They're
there.
planning all kinds of things. The
Yeah,
question is, what can we say and what
Uh-huh.
can't we say?
yeah. I will
Um,
say that it is
Good.
definitely thought about because with the whole node system, you see how there's NFT integration. At least Grape did it immediately, where they have the whole system of you hold a
Mhm.
node and you have an NFT, then you enter in their uh, it's like monthly rewards or monthly airdrop, I think. Yeah, monthly airdrop.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely thoughts behind that and using a somewhat the same system, maybe not the exact same, maybe the exact same. I don't know. We haven't fully figured it out yet, but definitely thought about. Definitely looking at
Mhm.
ideas, and I'm thinking about like, yeah,
So
what's
yeah,
something cool
that's a
that we
pretty
can
good way
do.
to.
And yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
you might see them soon because I don't know. I don't think it's that hard. Like I don't know. I feel like NFTs are just some
We definitely
easy
don't want
shit.
to
But
overpromise, but yeah, we're looking at it. There's some really cool ideas with NFTs. I mean, Monkey, he's
Absolutely.
trying not to release too much, but he's had some of them. Not only could they have utility, but imagine if our NFTs were like little like chests or bags of gold or something like that, that you have to open it, almost like a pack or something. And then when that opens, maybe there's also an incentive or reward tied into that, a certain amount of gold mint. One of the NFTs might open a big treasure box, and one might be a
Mhm.
little bit smaller. So there's a lot of cool stuff we're looking at.
Oh
And if
yeah.
you're hanging out, I'm sure you'll be seeing some NFT announcements. But we are definitely focused on the nodes first. Through most of the rest of this month and the beginning of next month, you'll see us really focus on improving and finalizing our nodes and the node UI, cleaning up, integrating to this thing. We're doing an audit of the contract
As
with
long
raiders.
as
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing actually is that it everything will be audited for I guess like the second time, and the nodes will be audited to ensure that they're safe.
Sure.
mhm.
Absolutely.
uh,
That's great. Yes.
uh, oh, I was just going to make a small, tiny joke, but the moment has passed. No matter.
Yes.
Too late.
Don't. Yes. It's
That's
my
good.
show,
Good
Steph.
intuition, Smack.
Yes, time has
uh,
passed. Hmm.
yeah, NFTs have a lot of utility in nodes and GameFi stuff. They can boost rewards. Then nodes integrated NFTs. Like they made yield generating NFTs, which could be traded, sold, transferred, which wasn't uh, a thing with nodes before that. So that is, uh, there is so much you can do with NFTs, really. It's just
Yeah, it
you
is
need to be
crazy to see the
creative.
NFTs with
Yes.
the asset integration, Smacky. I've seen some crazy
Mhm.
stuff. I mean, you can go on OpenSea right now and buy just Uniswap LP pairs with some number of tokens as an NFT.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much out there. It's wild.
They're evolving like everything in DeFi. They're kind
It's
of merging together.
it's actually funny how
Mhm.
like I don't know, NFTs were kind of they've been around for a while now, but like just now they're starting to actually see some utility, and it's like
Yes.
yeah, it's funny.
When first, yeah, it's interesting because when first people kind of see NFTs, they think immediately, or at least the people who are in DeFi, think JPEG and waste of space. Like that's what we
Yeah.
want to avoid.
Yeah, exactly. There's a
He funny
big
monkey. That's
but yeah,
that's it.
there's like a bad image behind NFTs just
Yes.
because of that, and like especially for the outside scene, just because they had zero utility and have had zero utility for so long. But hopefully, yeah,
The funniest thing to me is that the NFTs that actually have utility are way cheaper than the ones that are just JPEGs minted on the
yeah,
blockchain.
yeah,
It's
exactly. They
crazy.
Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes logic doesn't prevail in this space.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's DeFi. No one cares.
Logic
Yeah, logic
is very
left in chat.
secondary.
We
You
could
said
Yes.
probably
very
do
sen-
better coming up with something called shiny cats than we would putting like the most intelligent value into
like
into
it could
a
sound
concept.
like the best name, or we could just sell shiny cast, and that would be just great as well.
It's,
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so yeah, there might be some moves in that direction.
Awesome. It was a great chat. Let's see if community has some more questions. Great, but good. Mm, True, we could do a giveaway involving the nodes and NFTs like grape. Maybe that could work. Like I've seen a lot of communities that give away some things for holding an NFT or make a lottery of sorts. That's also a great use for NFTs.
Yeah, we could
Um,
definitely look at doing something like that. We have a pretty robust system, and I would
yeah,
be open to finding like some prize pools or something
great.
for our participants. We have a lot of really cool folks who've been with us since the beginning, and we've been growing. Some new members. Something like that might be a
Mhm.
cool way to just like have some fun and give back to the people who are already hanging out with us,
Mhm.
anyways.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I see. Uh, DeFi typing something? Yes. Maybe I missed the answer, but I want to know the plan on keeping it sustainable.
Ah, yes. Yeah, so we did touch on that briefly, but the way these nodes are set up is just a little bit different than some of the other ones that some of these people are familiar with. If you're coming from nodes, you're in a node specific protocol that it's really based on just the growth aspect and the appeal. If you're coming from tomb forks and algo stables, you kind of get that lock stake feeling to it. But again, you're going to have to see also the growth of the nodes itself in terms of number of users, to reach sustainability. So what we've tried to do is kind of round it out with the doc my co-founder calls our DAO the war chest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we've kind of tried to round out our nodes with the resources that we already have. So we were currently using that war chest to support our ecosystem, which at the moment is three tokens. It's GoldMint, it's the GoldMint shares, and the GoldMint bond token. What we want to do is not just add nodes to the side, but kind of incorporate that as part of our core ecosystem, and then also be willing to use the DAO. And I touched on this a little bit earlier. Although we can't guarantee how often we'll print, how well stocked our war chest, through the DAO will be, we believe that at about 0.4% per epoch, the DAO can help sustain it beyond the influx of new users and things like that. Beyond the influx of printing a little bit more often or a little less often than we desire. So that might be the one thing that we're able to offer that I don't believe any other nodes have offered is kind of the support from our protocol's existing support mechanism. And I do mean by that, like physically drop GoldMint tokens into the wallet that pays out into the nodes. People are asking, like, what do I mean by support? But to keep that fund stocked to the best of its capability during the entire length of the payout
And
period.
as well as like the kind of the same system that Grape has with using the NFTs, like I don't know, it's something that we'll be looking into as well for supporting that pool as well.
Oh yeah, there will be other things integrated, but at the moment, maybe our
Yes.
secret weapon is the DAO.
Our primary weapon is the DAO. Honestly, it's our biggest key
You know
factor
what?
in a lot of
It's
things.
probably worth touching on. That is something special about our protocol.
Yes.
I look at a lot of the algo stables out there, and not to get away from nodes too much. They're often called tomb forks because they started by forking
Mm-hmm.
Tomb's code. Now let's look at what Tomb was. It was a project whose team abandoned it that had serious flaws with the code that have been exploited over the last year. That doesn't sound that amazing to me. So why did Tomb work out? And it's because Harry Ye came in with the DAO and was willing to give it that level of support. So you'll notice a lot of these guys out there, and I think it's the reason a lot of folks thought we might not have, had the longevity too, is that they don't use the DAO in that same way. It's not just forking Tomb's code that makes you an algo stable that could have growth up. I know they're doing a little bit bad right now, but just in general, they were a fairly successful protocol. It's not just copying that code. It's really looking at what they did and then what other good protocols like Great Finance, things like that have done. So we really want to amplify that DAO and use that DAO to support the protocol. I feel like a lot of these other forks either don't even set up a DAO or just set it up as a fund to just hold their own token and occasionally burn it or something like that. We want to have a more active DAO that supports this protocol, and it has some other really cool goals as well. If this is the first time you're learning about GoldMint, our DAO seeks over our 2-year emissions to kind of acquire as much PAX G as possible, to round out our assets that are outside of our protocol assets, to prepare for some really cool like dividend style tokens for future emissions rewards that might be backed by synthetic gold tokens. There's a lot of APR junk in DeFi where you can find a rate that's really appealing, but the token you get paid in is volatile or unsustainable or whatever might be wrong with it. So we have some things that we're looking at on that end too, but that's just a little overview of who our DAO is and what they're doing on top of the answer to DeFi's question.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you for giving us more understanding of your DAO. That's great. We've touched on a lot of stuff. I'm happy to see finally the symbiosis of nodes and seigniorage because a lot of times they're just kind of stay far away from each other, and here we see the users can choose which rewards you can put back into the protocol, or take profit, or compound, or put it in a vault, or something else. That's really great, and I think that will help sustain the protocol. And there is a last question, or rather a statement. To pay out daily APR, the DAO has to earn money to keep system running. I think 3 months of ROI is hard in this market. If market is downturn, it will be hard in my opinion. So
Yeah, we
can you comment on that?
Yeah, so if
there's a lot.
we were the toughest situation, I guess, for the DAO would be if the full 3 months of the protocol were so tough that we were in a non-print situation. That's where the DAO may have to start doing things like selling share tokens to get more GoldMint tokens or things like that. So that is correct. I mean, it's not everything comes with a cost. So, in a situation where we use our DAO to also support the nodes and it's supporting other things, and then that DAO becomes underfunded, you do have some risk of the DAO failing to be able to kind of meet that need or capacity, especially through printed tokens. Now, there may be the ability for it to sell some of what it brings in from different places and use that to supplement. But yeah, I believe our math worked on the system being very simple and easy to maintain around a 50% print ratio. And below 50% print, it's sustainable but difficult. Higher than 50% print, it's sustainable and easy. And then, there are lines on both ends where it's ridiculously easy if we're printing all the time and ridiculously difficult if, this is the last token buy ever and it never goes up again. So
And
there would be both of
I
those
also want to touch up on
scenarios.
the DAO like a little bit more and say that our other founder, Doc, is like that's like his primary goal is to ensure that the DAO succeeds, and he is constantly looking at new revenues in different ways to bring in more income, and like it's never at a sit still. It's never just like only looking at earning yield from like DeFi specifically, but other sources of income and outsourcing and even real world. Like it's
Yeah, he's been supporting it too. Our DAO is not that far from being able to sustain, a decent amount of the program. I don't know its exact current holdings, but I know it has several hundred tokens split between the bond, GoldMint, and the GoldMint, and then there's a substantial number of share tokens too, and those are all growing every day, and some different contributions, some PAX G coming in. So the DAO did get an unfair head start compared to other people's DAOs. For those who are saying in a
Mhm.
tough market, it may be difficult. The DAO also has support mechanisms
but
to
yeah,
keep
like
it
the DAO is
healthy.
being run entirely different, and like it's we're trying to make this protocol and essentially run like entirely different from everything else, and use everything we can to bring more utility and everything. And the DAO is one very big aspect of everything. Can't stress that enough, and how important Doc is to um, that whole idea and everything, and what he's doing behind that.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of things that going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So that's really great hearing about Doc. I know he's a great guy. We have some question. a few questions from Wellness.
Yep.
What security measures do we have in place against hacks or exploits? There has been a hacking trend going on other protocols. Dark Forest nodes got super hacked. They still shut down and 100% liquidated. Oh, Finance
That's
got
an
hacked, but
awesome
they
question.
recovered. Yes. What is
Uh,
GoldMint's security position on this?
I guess it's twofold and maybe a wee little bit fold that's not smart to answer publicly. But first we are starting with tried and true and tested methods for nodes. So we'll be looking at specifically how other seniorage protocols incorporated nodes into their existing ecosystem in a healthy way that's not yet been exploited. So we're going to look at the structure. I sometimes say the stand on the shoulder of geniuses. We're going to look at the structures that are working right now for doing that, and we've already done it. That's a big part of where we started. Then we had to implement some of our own code on top of it to get these nodes to kind of fit with our, like, the type of balance that we're going for. The nodes are supported a little bit more robustly than other people's maybe. And then we're going to follow up with, we've been using Raiders of DeFi for audits, and we'll be following up with an audit there to ensure that once we've adjusted the code a little bit, that it's correct. And then we even have them re-review the contract once it's deployed. So they'll look at it, make sure we're not deploying something stupid. Um, and then once it's deployed, they'll even check it again on the Ethereum mainnet. It's expensive to deploy, so we like to make sure it's correct before it gets out. But then we'll always check it again once it's deployed to make 100% certain it's
Yes.
safe. And then, not to touch on too much, but we're also doing things with our website and our security. I'm very involved in this scene. I'm on Discord, even when you think I'm not on, and you see my little red bar. I'm on this computer 24/7. So we've been watching very closely what's going on with, like, if we're speaking specifically about Spooky Swap and some of the other front end UI. I've been looking at what some of the weaknesses were and what things we can do. I can tell you, we probably we are very committed to our web security, so we definitely spend and look for, security even above and beyond just having like an SSL certificate and things like that. We commit to different methods of securing our website too, because some of these attacks are not from a bad DApp or bad code or an exploit, but it's from someone getting into the UI. For the specific,
Yes.
recent attack, we don't have ads on our
And
site, so
I'll
uh,
also say that because like it really sucks to see, these other people getting hacked, but it essentially helps other protocols because it brings awareness to those I don't know, features, bad features or things that can be exploited, and then that gets added
Hmm.
into audits and stuff like that, and it's then reviewed and everything. So yeah, it sucks to see people get hacked, but it actually kind of helps a little bit for other people.
Hmm. Absolutely, 100%. It's so good hearing a founder talk about these things. It's very reassuring because a lot of people now don't even trust like audits and KYCs and stuff like that. Um, so I think communication with the team is very important for the
you're right,
investors.
Smacky. It's not just
Yes.
Goldman. You have to believe in us too. You know what I mean? It's that type of relationship. We're going to try to guide this protocol, in the best direction. We have a pretty clear path over 2 years to kind of shift control to a community-run DAO, things like that. I certainly don't want to be like an emperor of a protocol forever, but we have a really clear path to kind of guide this in a positive direction, and then, let it lean over to community control, but uh, not until it's healthy and robust and ready for that. So we'll be here.
Sure. Absolutely. That's great. So we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked about security. We've talked about the mechanics of your um future nodes. Again, is the launch supposed to be in June, right? In early June?
Yes,
Yeah,
beginning
you
of the
can.
month.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Good. Okay. So yeah, guys, don't forget to you still can win a couple of whitelist spots. As the founder said, you will get really good benefits, and there is a good chance that only whitelisted people will ever be able to create nodes. So, uh, go ahead, invite some people. We still have this contest running. Um, I see Cat is typing. Okay. Will you be looking to have a PulseNet based front end so us smaller fish can bypass the Liquidus Eve fees?
I
Ah,
yeah.
so that is an excellent question. We would like to have, I don't know if that's the exact route we'll take, but we are thinking about how it would be nice. Granted, at the moment, Ethereum fees have been very low. I mean, I did a Uniswap trade, I think, this morning for $8
Yeah, I
US
did one
dollars
last night for 5.
equivalent.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to make any moves in Ethereum, this is a particularly good time. And we are starting to think about that long term roadmap. But my goal is to build out this protocol on the network we selected, achieve the peg we desire, and have the different aspects of this ecosystem working in a fluid, manner before we go too much further. But
Yep.
yes, I can absolutely see a future where GoldMint is available to some of the people who don't use Ethereum mainnet directly, be that through Arbitrum or be
Mhm.
that through layer 2 integrations. I think it'd be super cool to see a gold peg token on AVAX or Phantom. We're definitely looking at some of that stuff down the road, but I want to kind of succeed at our current goals before we set the bar, too high
And there's
and
also
spread our
some good
resources too thin.
there's some good reasons why we chose Ethereum too for other like bigger aspects and everything. Some that we can't really say, but more future goals and everything like that. There's lots of uh, value and benefit of being on Ethereum specifically. So
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Yes? Is that
Oh no, I'm just seeing
no?
the audience got some nice people in here.
Okay,
Got
good.
Donnie,
Oh yes. Nice person
Don.
joined. Hello, nice. And Donier also, of course, he been asking a lot of good questions. Um, so yeah, you completely distracted me, Kirby,
I
from something that I had
apologize.
in my mind.
the best at
Yes,
that.
you're bad.
I I am.
Okay, good. Okay.
Well,
Just
yeah,
one thing. Monkey has to change his microphone.
Oh really?
I don't know.
I
Well,
can
you're
barely
just a
hear.
little bit quiet. But I
Oh,
have him granted
It's
monkey,
200%.
you're
Well,
a
I've a
monkey. You're pretty quiet,
yeah, I've
he's
a
soft
apparently.
bad
spoken. He's famous.
soft
That's
yeah,
all
spoken
it is.
monkeys are usually pretty loud, so that's
box. Yeah.
Until
It,
someone doesn't deliver. Wait till you hear him in a private VC when someone's not doing their job. Trust me, you can get fired up.
Okay, that's great.
that's funny.
So fun. Good.
Yeah, I
All
think that was
right. Well,
good.
yeah.
Um,
If there's no other questions, I don't know if there's anything else.
Vu, you should.
uh,
Have any
yeah, I
questions
don't
for us?
think so.
I think
Touched
Vu might
on
have a little
everything.
something for somebody in the
Yeah, we
audience.
did want to give out. I like doing a giveaway too. Can I give out like a whitelist spot in point 0.8 Goldmint here? Am I allowed to do that? I
Sure.
am.
Go
Cool.
ahead.
I actually just hit a random number generator and I actually got
Oh,
one. So cool. I was just looking at the list in front of me. I was like, I'll pull I like to do it different every time. So one was the random number. So KEULE.
yeah, cool.
Um,
oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Mod
you're
from
lining up
Alto.
with the random number one. So you are going to win from GoldMint point 0.8 Bond GoldMint tokens and a whitelist spot. So you have every opportunity to participate in this node program if you're interested.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Oh,
Cool.
whoa!
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
buddy.
So what does
Thanks.
he have
Awesome.
to does he have to
Hop on
send
over
you
to
the
our
wallet?
server and start a ticket with
Oh,
your wallet address. We'll get you sent over your Bond GoldMint and get you on the whitelist.
Yep, it's as simple as that. Just open a
And
ticket, send us
then
your address.
that's
anyone
awesome.
else who's participating through your server, you can also reach out to Smacky. We talk all the time. If someone gets a whitelist spot through this server,
Mm-hmm.
we, those of us up here can communicate with each other as well if you're having trouble finding a way to get
Absolutely.
in.
100%.
I'm always there to communicate with you guys. If anyone has any last questions, we we should wrap it up, but go ahead.
Um,
I
You
Yeah,
know
that was
what,
about an
Reed?
hour. That was a good chat, guys.
yeah.
It was great. We learned a lot. Great chatting with you guys.
yeah.
Well,
Thank you
Miss
so
was
much,
typing
Mackie.
something, but yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for joining and being good friends to Degen Dashboard. I'll just, I guess, throw in a little teaser. We are launching just just a few days from now. I don't know if I can disclose this, but yeah,
Oh, awesome.
the site is already deployed, and we're going to soft launch in a couple days. So that's
We can't
something
wait.
to look out
Yeah,
for.
everybody make sure to
Yes.
go check out the site, and then once we have our nodes
Oh,
released, you'll
for
be
sure.
able to see and track our nodes on there. So that'll be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And
Well,
GoldMint will have a
23.
featured little thing.
a
Yeah,
secret little thing.
but
For
a
sure.
featured
Oh,
government
I
will
Yeah,
be
we
heard
got
some.
lots
featured
of
on
Pepes
top
for you.
of.
Cool.
Yes,
Yo, for gold
Those are
awesome.
new
Pepe's for
Pepes.
guy get
Aw,
Pepe's for Degen Dashboard, guys. Um,
yay.
And yeah, there
Is
will
it?
be a recording,
Yeah,
Cat.
sure.
We're gonna get it over. We might put it on our GoldMint YouTube, I guess, but we'll also
Yeah,
have it. I don't know if DGen Dashboard has a YouTube, but yeah, there's definitely gonna be a recording made available through one or two different means for anyone who missed
okay.
missed it
hmm
or got in late.
I
Definitely.
think
So,
I think we can stop recording now, and we've had a great chat. If we want to continue chatting, we can move to lounge, I think. Yeah, so that
alright.
everyone can just talk. Yeah,
So I just stopped the recording. 'Cause we're good.
Sounds good.
great.
Yeah, we'll
Thanks,
just cut it
Okay.
guys.
off. Cool.